Serious, what is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Some you which whoa, 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 is a close friend of my best friend grabbed his 8-year-old son's new skateboard and took off down a hill in Georgia. Hit a rock, landed on his head, and had permanent brain damage. He lived years before he mercifully died. Had to be restrained the whole time because the damage made him erratic and violent. Wear a helmet. Dude I know won a $3 million settlement from being hit by a car. Spent it all on heroin and was dead within 3 years. Under 30 years old. Edit. Whoa, this really blew up. To answer some of the questions I see in the thread, I don't think he got hooked on opioids due to the accident. This guy did a lot of weed and shrooms and occasionally coke even before the settlement. The money just allowed him to graduate to heroin. How'd he spend all that money? Sadly, he had a bunch of addict friends who he enabled. He'd treat them to free heroin at these lavish parties. My cousin 18 finished her senior year early, so she was basically just waiting for May to do the graduation and get her diploma. She worked at a lake restaurant and had started hanging out with a bad crowd. At this time, she had been smoking a lot of weed and drinking, as well as just being generally reckless all the time. She was me best friend, so she texted me to tell me about everything she did basically. One night she texted me to tell me that she had tried meth and it was the best high of her life, but she will never do it again. Exactly 1 month after that text, she overdosed and died. They put her portrait in her graduation seat, and her dad got to walk and pick up her diploma. Watched a buddy spend his entire life savings betting on the Holocaust of Xenia. I begged him not to do it, and he lost his and his wife's entire 60 nest egg. She left him immediately with the kids, and now he lives at his mom's house. Edit. Well, this blew up. So a little more backstory. He had been betting on prize fighting for a short while and winning. Nothing outrageous, and heck, I even bet with him on a time or two because it was smaller bets on -200. He had been winning, probably made a few grand, not sure how much, but he was always saying he won and showing off his bets. So I can confirm he had been winning and his luck was pretty impressive. As far as I know, he doesn't gamble anymore and is just trying to rebuild his life. He lost his wife but does spend a lot of time with the kids. Arrive at work on their first day as a temp at around 10 am, caught stealing the boss's wallet at 12:30 p.m., taken away by police at 1 p.m. My sister started doing meth and heroin. She went from super smart to completely dumb. By the age of 19, she was already a felon. No one in the family wants to help her anymore cause each time we tried, either sending her to rehab or tried getting her sober, she would just go back to it. Was supposed to go to college, but now she's 22 and stays at different people's houses and begs people for money. Completely cut me and everyone else off from her cause she thinks us trying to help her is us being jealous and not wanting her to be happy in life. Have a friend who had a drinking problem and got into an argument with a gas station worker while drunk. The worker tried stopping his car by standing in front of it, and my friend ran him over and killed him. Wife, career, freedom, everything lost. Every career, free. I views. Check verb. Clear. A high school friend drove drunk and killed the local doctor of a small town. Last I heard, he was still in prison. The construction to amphetamines pipeline. I've seen two very good and competent men fall to absolute ruin in the space of 4 months because of this. The kid in the National Guard posting GovT secrets online for internet cred. My daughter's boyfriend, Julie 4, 2023, hopped in his car blackout drunk to come see my daughter. Do and hit and amp, run. He is just about to begin a painful, life-altering process. I knew someone who had a full scholarship to an in-state university. He got addicted to heroin, overdosed, fell into a coma, and now is confined to a wheelchair and has the mental capacity of a toddler. It happened within 2 or 3 years. Crime, specifically felonies. My lawyer took out a loan forging me signature. He's doing 15 years in federal prison. I would have given him the 0. His kid was very sick and I would have gladly helped him out. One of my best friends was close to finishing his buy, got career plans, money, was physically fit. Everything was fine, but then on New Year's Eve night he went into a famous nightclub in Berlin, bought some drugs and then jumped from the 7th floor. Either he bought something he wasn't familiar with or the drugs were laced with something stronger. Anyway, security cameras have him aimlessly wandering the floors of his 20-story apartment building, and I guess he got paranoid and wanted out, so he jumped. Apparently he didn't die instantly but slowly bleed out over the next 30 minutes. But since this happened shortly after midnight, nobody noticed because of all the noise and fireworks. They found his body around 4 a.m. and ruled it suicide. Don't do drugs, it's not worth it. Girl's divorce sent her into a manic episode. Her friends understood, but she lost her medical license that she had less than a year because she posted patient information on social media. She lost her job, made her lose her income, so she lost her home. She decided to stay in nice hotels from the mania and was in debt by the end of 2 weeks. A coworker sent an explicit text to a new hire using the company comm system. The com sent to tell a new hire you She pretended to be interested and then reported him with a very long thread as proof. Dude was married with kids, a supervisor. Now, divorced, kids hate him, works a low-level job. That guy who did the or whatever it was after trying heroin once and claimed he had the strength to never do it again. Spoiler alert, he did it again. A lot of times. Colleague who starts out great at new job, gets through probation, then gets out of control drunk at a company party. She makes out with the boss's date and hooks up with another colleague while her husband is there. Fast forward, she's dating this colleague now, and their relationship is causing disciplinary measures at work. They decide to double down and sign a new lease together anyways. She then lies about getting poached by a customer to leverage a raise, and when it doesn't work, she actually has to quit. Her boyfriend then follows suit by not showing up and ghosting the company. Now he's a stay-at-home stepdaddo. Did I mention she has 3 kids? After being with this girl for 6 months and they both don't have a job. Kind of a 2-for-1. For I two for Had a friend that had the perfect girlfriend, a good career path, and just so many things going his way. Then the dude picked drugs over his girlfriend, and basically he gave up on everything for drugs. I haven't heard from the guy in about 7 years, so I don't even know if he's still alive. I know a guy who came home drunk to his parents' house, got in an argument with his stepfather, and punched him once. Stepfather died. Guy ended up in prison on a murder conviction. A guy from the general area he lived in. Him 18 at the time, and girl broke up, ended up kidnapping her 3 weeks later and shooting her twice in the head with a handgun he took off his parents' gun safe. Tried driving 5 hours away to his grandparents' ranch to hide the body. Ditched his phone driving down the highway. SWAT team was waiting for him when he showed up at said ranch. Made news headlines in company. Edit. Reread news article about it, and it was actually 3 gunshots. My old friend ran across the street without looking because her dog was getting attacked by a snake. The car was probably going over 16th, and it ran into her. She's alive to this day, but she did suffer serious and permanent injuries. This happened years ago, by the way. It was traumatizing for her and everyone, including me, that saw it happen. At that time, I lived in a third world country, so the streets were busy as hell. It was also a rainy day, so it was hard for drivers to see. It was truly no one's fault. The driver also took responsibility. The numbnut that carved on the Colosseum. Dude I worked with came back after a weekend and told everyone he had tried meth, and he liked it. Like a month later, he came into me workspace and asked for a pair of pliers. I gave them to him, and he pulled a tooth right there in front of me like it was nothing. He quit shortly after, not sure what happened to him. He was very young, like 20 maybe. Drugs. My father went from a normal, functioning individual with a house and a 200 yearly salary to a man sleeping in his van with bad tags outside a church in the course of about 18 months, all because he'd much rather smoke his life away than live normally or be a grandfather. The amount of time it took for him to finish his first bump of coke. He was hooked instantly and been chasing it ever since. He's been hospitalized at least once, and as many as 4 times, due to complications that are hitting him harder and harder. Watched Roxas turn a kind and smart girl into a scab-covered felon in roughly 5 months, and watch meth turn a talented musician into an attempted murderer in less than 6 weeks. He attacked his own mama with a hatchet. Friend of mine had a girlfriend that was notorious for tying men to herself by accidentally getting pregnant when things weren't going well in the relationship. At that point, she already had 3 kids from different guys while in her early mid-20s. Said friend was lucky enough that things ended before she could do that again, however. His best friend caught feelings for her too and had an on-off relationship for a couple of months. To no one's surprise, she got priggo, and he now has to pay for a child he hasn't seen once. She's on child no. 5 now. My dad was an alcoholic. In his youth, he was the quintessential golden boy, handsome, an exceptional athlete, married to me beauty queen mother with 3 little girls, barely 2 years apart. Great job, house, new car, the works. Little by little it all slipped away. He died while living in the Salvation Army, penniless. He always told me a drinking man will never have anything. I miss you, Daddy. More than you could ever know. More than you could ever know.